Hi folks, my name is Craig Evans and I'm a banjo player. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and if you look out the window, this is March of 2011. You can still see there's a fair amount of snow. Well, that's okay, because I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing in May of this year. In a couple of years, I will turn 60 years of age. That gave me some pause for reflection. Started to think about where I am in life, and you know what? I've had a really good life. I do work that I like to do. I live in a beautiful part of the country. I have a loving wife. I get to play banjo quite often. And I started to think, if I was to give myself a 60th birthday present, I'm one lucky guy. I don't know what I'd give myself. I do like experiences, and I do like to listen to people's stories, especially if they're stories of either happiness or helping other people. You know, I'm not a regular viewer of Oprah Winfrey, but she had a show on the other day where she was talking about job happiness and job satisfaction. And there are 4 jobs in America that provide a great deal of job satisfaction, according to those that have those positions. They don't pay well. They're generally $53,000 a year or less. But those 4 jobs are firefighter, for obvious reasons, you're saving people's lives. Special education instructor, you're helping people do their very best. Travel agent, you're helping people fulfill their dreams. And clergy, you're helping people find salvation. All of these jobs require you to be somewhat selfless in nature, but all of these jobs you're giving to people. You're making them feel good. You're helping them with a better life. One of the things about banjo that's always intrigued me is how much joy it gives people, how much satisfaction and happiness it gives people. If I'm playing at an apple orchard or a coffee shop or even a nursing home, you can find people bobbing their heads and tapping their feet. A banjo is a pretty amazing thing. So it occurred to me, I'm wondering if banjo builders understand just how much joy they're giving to people when they put these things together. Are banjo builders pretty much as selfless as some of these other 4 positions? That's an intriguing theory. That's an interesting story. And you know what, as a birthday present, that's something I'd like to find out. So starting in May of 2011, I'm going to travel 6,000 miles and take in my first sweep of banjo builders. I'm also going to talk to retailers of banjo and other Americana instruments, because there's a trend underway right now. There's actually a revival happening with this old-timey music, and I'd like to document it for other people to see. In May of 2012, I'm going to travel to the other side of the United States and take in the rest of the banjo builders. But I genuinely feel we're going to find these banjo builders pretty much know what they're doing. They're making instruments that give joy and happiness to people. Isn't that cool? You know, as a younger man, I'd made a lot of business trips where I'd had to visit 5 or 6 people in a week. But never before have I had to try to take in 19 people in about 20 days. These people are scattered all over the eastern seaboard. This would be for May of 2011. Next year I'll do a western swing. Standard definition television is going to go away in about 2 years and everything's going to be HD. So as part of this project, I've got to upgrade my equipment. And I figure as long as I'm at it, I might as well get some really good stuff. I have to admit there's some fun in getting some of these new toys. I just hope the learning curve isn't too long. You know, in addition to the learning curve, there's also other technology issues. For instance, which makes more sense? A boom microphone, something like this, or a wireless, something like this that I'm trying out right now? I got to listen back to find out. This is Lake Pokegama. It's a pretty bleak sight this time of year. Believe it or not, today is April 1st. It's kind of a nature's joke up here in northern Minnesota. I'm just outside of Grand Rapids, Minnesota. I drove up here this morning bright and early because I want to interview a fellow by the name of Lloyd LaPlante. Now, Lloyd's not a banjo builder. He builds guitars and mandolins. But if I'm going to travel all across the United States and ask questions of people, I need to test out my questions, I need to test out my interviews and my methodology. So it was worth a trip up here today just to give the thing a trial run. Now, I still have people asking me all the time, why are you taking this trip? Why are you doing this? I spent my whole career as a business communications expert, 30 years in advertising and building websites and doing infomercials. I even worked for the Home Shopping Network for a period of time. My job was to get a commercial message out to as many people as possible for as inexpensive a price as I could possibly do. So I was really steeped a lot in mass communications. Well, this thing about banjo builders, it isn't about the masses. It's about a very few. So the question presents itself, if you're not going to prepare a commercial message here for hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands or possibly even hundreds, why are you going to spend all this effort for perhaps one or two people? Well, this has actually got a biblical perspective, because it doesn't matter how many people you communicate with, how many people you give all sorts of messages to. If you give the right message to the one, you've done your job. So when talking to all these banjo builders, I don't really know what the message is, and I certainly don't know who the one is. But I do know that if I succeed, the one has been served. And the older I get, it's more about serving the one. So my adventure is planned, and I hope that you take it with me. I'm going to see lots of different places and talk to lots of different people, and I'm certainly going to tell all these banjo builders that they're making the world a better place. And in doing so, we're all serving the one. Thanks for coming with me.